All right, Joel Klatt, he's very busy. He's doing podcast stuff up like the top floor where it's executives and keys to Mercedes-Benz and podcasts. All the rich guys are upstairs.
It's not this big studio like you have, it's just
the elevator doesn't even go to that floor. It's like
you have to have a special key card.
So you have Penn State, West Virginia, which is it's interesting because James Franklin can obviously recruit.
Yeah,
they got athletes everywhere, and they kind of feel like they're at home. They're a handful for a Michigan or Ohio State, and I wonder now. Here comes Oregon, USC, Washington, and it's like. I kind of feel like Penn State better be lined up now. Otherwise, they go from like that dangerous number 3 to they're the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, so a couple of things on Penn State. First of all, that game, that is a tough game because West Virginia got on a hot streak late last year. They've got some good players, and that environment's going to be incredible.
Crazy, loud.
It'll be incredible. Cannot wait for Country Road. Now, that being said, Penn State, a couple of things on Penn State. Really 3. Number 1 is this is the recruiting class that they've been pointing to for a couple of years.
Okay.
Their quarterback, Drew Aller, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Abdul Carter, like these guys are NFL players. And a lot of their fan base, and me included, have been pointing to this season as a year that they need to take a step forward. Okay, so that leads to kind of the next things, which are their schedule for Big Ten standards is softer than others. They don't face Oregon. They don't face Michigan. So their toughest game is hosting Ohio State. Now, that's nothing to sneeze at, obviously. Ohio State, at least for me, is the number 1 team in the country in the preseason. But as it could be in the Big Ten, that's fairly manageable. So you've got this manageable schedule, and you've got this recruiting class that you've been pointing to for a couple of years with NFL talent.
Yes.
All over the field, and their defense is always incredible. They get a new offensive coordinator. He comes from Kansas. He helped Lance Leipold really rebuild the Jayhawks. His name is Andy Kotelnicki.
Right.
I believe Drew Aller, their quarterback, takes a step forward. Okay, so then that brings me to that phrase, step forward. Bear with me for a moment because, Colin, Penn State in the last 8 seasons, if we would have had a 12-team playoff format like we have this year, they would have made 6 playoffs.
Wow.
So
that's what they are.
No team has been hurt more by a lack of a 12-team playoff than Penn State.
I like that.
6 times. Now, in those 6 years, their average rank would have been 9.5, right around there. So in the playoff, but not elite. And we've known this to be true. This is what played out because they can't get over the hump of Michigan and Ohio State, in particular in their own division. Now, they don't have divisions. So for me, everything points to Penn State taking a step forward. That means to me being in the top 8 in the playoff and hosting a first-round college football playoff game in Happy Valley. In fact, I've got my new podcast coming out. I believe tomorrow is going to have my predictions for the 12-team playoff. And I can just tell you right now, they're hosting a first-round playoff game. That's what I think Penn State is.
I asked the question and you delivered. That's a nice job.
I appreciate that.
I like how you guys don't know this yet, but I see that I have a hard out at 11:52 because he's got a meeting with Shanks. That guy's up there having he's up there eating a sloppy Joe. He can't wait an extra 2 minutes.
They put that on the paper?
Literally, I have.
Don't you have a hard out at 52
during my
your show is over?
It's outrageous.
Oh, that's
okay,
incredible.
you got some big ones this year. You got Alabama, Wisconsin. You got great games. I want to throw this out there. I don't know if we put
Texas, Michigan.
Yeah. So I'm hearing things at USC. They like you know what they're saying right now? You media people don't understand. Miller Moss is way better than you think.
I'm
Lincoln gets the offense back. No Oregon, no Ohio State. Rebuild Michigan. Penn State home, Notre Dame home. And a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, where do you land? Because you're not a homer like I'm called on USC.
No, but I am bullish on USC this year. I'm very bullish. Their defense, everyone can roll their eyes on their defense being better. Their defense is going to be better. All you have to do is line up properly, and their defense. I'm not joking. Like I know that sounds bad, but like the schematics were so bad last year in terms of gap control. In college football. I mean, in some respects, yes. I think that's probably accurate. Their defense is going to be better, and then this notion that their offense will take a step back is false. It's false. And the record bears that out. Since 2017, when Lincoln Riley became a head coach at Oklahoma, their offense in terms of yards per play, and I think yards per play is the best metric we have for really your efficiency as an offense. How good are you as an offense?
That's what NFL bettors use. That's a big stat.
Yards per play. When you look at that stat, Lincoln Riley's offenses since 17 have been first, 11th, 3rd, 6th. Like, they're not going anywhere. It hasn't mattered what quarterback he has had. And in fact, whatever quarterback he has, as long as that quarterback stays within the system, is generally a Heisman Trophy candidate. So their offense should be just fine. If they beat LSU, this is the big one. If they beat LSU in week 1, then they have a legitimate chance to play Notre Dame for the right to go to the college football playoff.
I think Chip Kelly wins Ohio State the national championship. I think they lose at Eugene. It's going to be such a homecoming for Chip. That game's going to be insane. Did we put you on that one?
NBC's got that one.
Oh, screw those guys. That game's meaningless. Anyway, the point being,
that's so good.
I think whoever wins that game loses later. So if Oregon wins it and they meet again. So okay. I think Ohio State, that's all really.
I think that's fair.
I don't think people understand what Chip Kelly delivers for a team that was missing something.
They did not run the ball as effectively as they needed to over the course of the last 2 and 3 years. This is why Michigan became the more dominant program, is because Michigan dominated at the line of scrimmage. If you go back to what even Ryan Day was early in his career, or what Urban Meyer was at Ohio State, they ran the football incredibly well. J.K. Dobbins ran the ball for 2,000 yards. They're not just an air it out all the time offense. They had an inability to run it efficiently over the last couple of years. Now
they got Purdy.
They have Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. That's the best running back duo in college football.
And Chip's much more of a power run coach than people think.
And he runs the ball. I was just going to say, he runs the snot out of the ball. Everywhere that he's been, they've run the ball as well as anybody in their own conference. Even when he was with the Eagles, I believe they led the league in rushing in one of the years that he was the head coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. I expect them to take a step forward offensively because of that, because of Chip Kelly. And then just quickly for Ohio State, why do I have them ranked number 1? 1, Chip Kelly running the football.
Yeah.
2, that's going to be the best defense in America. Their front 4 is loaded with NFL talent. Their back 7 loaded with NFL talent. I don't see many people scoring points on Ohio State. And so that will allow them to bring Will Howard, their quarterback that they named last week, bring him along. Chip will get him comfortable running the football. They've got elite players on the outside. Like, Ohio State's going to be a handful.
All right, you've got a big meeting. That's what it says on the screen.
That's incredible. I've got time. I've always got time for you.
I know, but when it's like big meeting upstairs.
You're
like what
at noon. What are you right? What's your heart out?
What literally, possibly, could the meeting be about? Klatt, we want you to be available every Saturday this fall.
I will tell you this. When I'm in this seat, this is second only to calling the games. This is one of my favorite spots in my work
we
life,
love having
right
you too.
here, this chair.
And by the way, when you go out,
looking up at you,
when you go out. Do those college coaches come to you and say, hey, you may want to listen to Coward a little more?
No, it's actually the exact opposite. They say, like, hey, keep Collins' feet to the fire. Like, hold him accountable. Keep giving him the business. And I'm like, listen, I will handle my son.
But what does the public say?
They say they love this.
Okay.
They say more of this.
More of this. All right. Well, you go to your big meeting. You go get a raise. We're just eating peanut brittle down here trying to get to the next rest area.
Brittle, that's incredible.
That's all we're doing.
I have houses all over the country.
Okay. Well, we're done. The show's virtually over. I don't even think we have a show after us today, do we? No, First Things First is off this week. I'm going to tell you something. Shoulder sore from carrying this place. There's no other show airing right now.
I tell you what. You know who gives the best piggyback ride in America? Colin Cowherd.
Okay. USC make the playoff, 10 seconds. 15.
I'd say they're the first one out.
Yeah, because that Notre Dame game, I don't like the way they match up with Notre Dame.
That's right. And I don't like how they match up with Penn State.
I don't either. And they get them at home, and I think they lose both.
Yeah.
I just think those are tough matchups.
Really tough.
I would say they got a shot against LSU.
I do too.
I think they've got a shot against LSU.
I'm going to pick them in that game.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including
exclusive behind-the-scenes videos, and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.